Hello friends. I'm not 100% sure if I'm live yet. As usual, I gotta check the good old YouTube, make sure they're not fucking me over. Make sure the audio is working fine. So if you'd just give me a second, that'd be awesome. Oh. Well, the dogs are barking, so I guess that does mean things are working fine. Give me a second, I'm gonna go get them to hush up. Alright, so, friends, and anyone else who just so happened to tune in, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about today. Literally no clue. So, whatever the title of this VOD is, I guess that's what you're going to get. What's up, Dante? So, yeah, that's that. Also, I went over last night and rewatched my my own live stream. I know, I watched my entire live stream from last night, and I don't think I've ever... My dog. I don't think, what's up, 0711? You must be new here because I don't recognize you, but hello. I don't think I've ever watched my own videos and haven't known I was watching my own videos because I kind of just used my own live stream as background noise, and that shit was nice. Anyway, today, I've got obviously no shit, I gotta do my commissions, but I made that video on, what is it? MiHoYo is an indie company. What's up, Nupal? Did I get it right? I made that video on MiHoYo is an indie company as soon as I woke up, and like, I don't know why, but after that video, I was like, I wasn't mad making the video, but like the more I thought about it, the more angry I got, so I had to just like step away from the internet for a second after making that video. So that's why the live stream is delayed. I know I said it'd be 2 hours and the video was uploaded at noon, but I'm 30 minutes late. So I didn't want to come in here angry, so the stream was delayed a bit, and I'm sorry for that. You know the drill. For the first like 10 minutes of the stream, I gotta, you know, do commissions and shit like that. I'll read chat, I'll answer your questions, we'll talk same as usual, but I gotta get these commissions done. And yesterday I wanted to do my battle pass, but we got distracted. So I didn't do that, and then I bought Hollow Knight later that evening, so I didn't come back to Genshin that day, so I'm gonna try and get this shit done. Also, Halloween's coming up soon. I plan on doing something for that. I'm going to talk about the scariest thing of all time, as requested by, shit, Dante. Wasn't it you? I'm pretty sure it was you who requested it first. They requested that I talked about RNG. I think that'd be pretty funny for a Halloween video. Just talk about RNG, how shit it is. Oh, who's this? Fuck it. I'll let him in. Good old co-op mode. $10 as they're gonna ask to fish. Hold on, here we go. What do you want? My dogs are going crazy upstairs. Here we go. What do you want? God, I'm sorry. Sorry about my dogs. Yeah, it is scary. What do you want? $10 says fishing. Can I see fishing or farming? Fishing or farming? Answer. Come on, friend. Come on. Answer the question. Oh, wow. Co-op, yeah, he wants to kill unusual hilly trolls. Nope. Not doing that. Not off-putting my daily commissions. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but it's not happening, sir. Okay. So, story time, because I like story time, and I wanted to talk about this a few days ago and couldn't have. And I would like to preface the story by, yes, I am well aware the person I'm making fun of probably, maybe a little bit had a mental issue. Don't hate me yet, let me explain. So, as you all know, I just graduated high school like a year ago. So while I was in high school, there was this kid in my school who plagued my existence. His name was Alan Hardy, and you know, like the stereotypical country, they kind of talk a little like this, and they really like trucks and movies. Plot twist: they were looking at your stream while co-oping. Ah, shit. So there's those people in country movies that kind of talk a little bit like this. So Alan was basically that kid. He was 300 pounds plus. He was 5'2". So he was way shorter than me, so I could like rest my hand on his shoulder. Not that I would have. He had really bad facial acne. He was super overweight, and he kept saying he didn't know why. Oh, they talk like you. Fuck off. And he was like super kind of overweight. He was really, yeah, Texas boy chirp. That's pretty accurate now that I think about it. So he was like this super kind of, he was this real, you could tell he grew up in the country. I mean, I know I grew up in the country, and you can sometimes hear it when I'm talking, but he literally, this, I can mimic his voice perfectly. He talks like this. So he was a treat. Anyway, he was really slow, and I don't mean like slow. He ran pretty much 90% of the time. I mean, he was slow as in there probably wasn't a lot going on up here. No, he was not a Florida man. We don't live in Florida, but I wouldn't be surprised. So, to preface everything you need to know about Alan Hardy, let me start with this. He loves Godzilla. Godzilla is his shit. How much does he love Godzilla? Well, he carries a boombox in his backpack, not a music player, not an MP3, a boombox, like an actual like miniature speaker kind of deal. And he plays the Godzilla theme in his speaker in the middle of a school day as he's going through the hallway. So like, and he stomps real loud. Like when he walks, he'll kind of like lean forward a little bit, and he'll have his hand straight out to his side, and he'll like kind of do the nutcracker walk, you know what I'm talking about, where they're like straight edged, but he's kind of leaning forward a little bit, and he'll like run like that. So he'll stomp. So all you'll hear is the fucking Godzilla theme, where Godzilla comes out of the ocean, and you'll hear his footsteps. Sounds a little something like on the way down the hallway. And he was stupid doesn't cover it. So let me just so you know how stupid it is. First of all, he did that in public and didn't like actually, you know, understand that that's kind of, you know, had I done that, my social skills or lack thereof would have prevented me from doing that, because I would have been like, oh yeah, that's kind of cringy, I don't want to get made fun of. But Alan Hardy, oh no, just fine with him. He did not give a fuck. I mean, at least he's not afraid to show his true self. Yeah, but it kind of gets problematic, and you'll understand that later. So as much as he loved Godzilla, he would like, so you know, there was Zoom in our 12th grade year. We had to do Zoom because of the pandemic. When I say he has posters of Godzilla up on his wall, I don't want you to think that I mean like, you know, really nice kind of those, not those metal posters, not those like actual, you know, lamin carbon posters that is typical for like anime shit. I mean posters as in white copy paper that was a printed out picture of Godzilla, and he hung it up on his wall as for decoration. So it didn't even use colored ink. It was just black and white copy paper. You could see the lines where the image was bigger than the paper, so it kind of cuts off halfway through. He had that hanging up on his wall. But it gets worse. So he would come to school, and every single day he would have 3 Diet Coke. Why Diet Coke? Well, because he's trying to watch his weight, of course. Keep in mind, he's 310 pounds, 5'2", so he's a pretty fucking big boy. He's a chunky boy. So he'd walk in, he'd have this Diet Coke, 3 of them, And it would be one thing to just have some Diet Coke, you know, Diet Coke. So this dude was the Spectrum. Well, that's debatable, and I'll tell you why in a minute. I think he was just dumb. And he had Diet Coke on his desk. The poster, I can't read that. I'm broke it. I like your username. That used to be my old username. So he was kind of, you know, not all there. And he would come in with his Dr. Pepper, slam it on him. I had a history class with him, first period. He would come in with his he'd come in with his Diet Coke. He'd have a yellow sticky note, and he'd duct tape the sticky note. He'd draw the atomic symbol on it. So like the you know, the like nuclear symbol, he'd draw that on his Diet Coke and say it was radiation juice. And he said that Godzilla was his father. So this is something you'd expect in, you know, 2nd, 3rd grade, maybe 4th. Yeah, this was 12th grade high school. Because every day for lunch, he would run. When I say run, I don't mean like, you know, a sprint, like a normal person, you know, arms, hands to the side, booking it to the cafeteria. No, Alan Hardy, that wasn't good enough. Alan Hardy, what he did instead, he's kind of big, he'd lean forward, like the weight, his own weight would propel him, and he'd fast walk. He would fast walk because he couldn't run, otherwise the principal would stop him. No shit. So instead of drinking water and exercising, he chose to drink diet soda. Yeah, but it gets worse. So he would fast walk to the cafeteria of all things. So he already doesn't look the healthiest. But why would he fast walk to the cafeteria, you're wondering? Well, he didn't care about priority in the lunch line. What he actually cared about was my school, what they did, we had a warm lunch and then we had pre-made lunch. But cold lunch and hot lunch. Cold lunch, don't be mistaken, wasn't like cold, but you could get some hot things in the cold lunch line. But cold lunch was the same every single day. It was kind of like a yogurt tray, a salad, sandwich platter, shit like that. But in the cold lunch line, there was a highly sought after dish that was Italian combo pizza, and it was pizza with really cheap pepperoni and really cheap sausage on it. But it was so sought after because most of the pizza that wasn't sold the day before, if you got there in first lunch, would be the pizza that was left over from the day prior. And let me just say, the pizza that was left over from the day prior tasted like toilet paper with a little bit of tomato sauce put on it. It was fucking awful. So you either had to be there early enough to get the Italian combo or late enough to get the fresh stuff that was made that day. So he wanted the Italian combo because it's the biggest bang for your buck, and he's a fatty, so he wants it. And then he would run there at mock speed, but he wouldn't just get one pizza. Oh, no, that wasn't good enough. He wouldn't get two either, no. He'd get 3 of the damn things, and because he already drank his 3 Diet Pepsis that he brought to school, or Coke, my bad. I know there's sacrilege comparing the two. And because he already drank his 3 Diet Coke, atomic juice, from the day earlier, he'd buy 3 more. Keep in mind, this delicious pizza is only, you know, able to be gotten. They make like 10 of them a day because the sausage is expensive, quote unquote. I think the school was just kind of lazy. So there'd only be 3 of them, or 10 of them, and he'd take 3 of them right off the bat. Now that's not bad enough. He would always be first, so he'd always be the first to pay. But because he's a dumbass and he didn't have a credit card, he'd pay in pennies. In pennies. He would pay with no shit pennies. And he'd count them out like an old lady at the end of line. But you could kind of forgive an old lady for doing it. But he's this 320-pound child. And I don't know what it was about him, but he thought I was like his best friend for some reason. I don't know why, but he just thought I was his bro, his homie, and I hate him. Yeah, why? I don't know. I hated him. And I know hate is a strong word. I don't hate a lot of people, but I hated Alan Hardy. I will never forget the day me, my brother, my ex-girlfriend, or at the time girlfriend, were sitting at the lunch table together, and Alan Hardy comes over, you know, his fat ass takes a seat right next to us, and in all seriousness asks, and I cannot make this up, and I gotta say it in his voice, Y'all know what Brazzers is? Now, for those of you, the uneducated, the uninitiated, Brazzers is a hardcore porn site. And when I say hardcore, I mean like the weird stuff. He would come down and that was his conversation starter. Have you ever like heard somebody ask something and you just like the air in the room gets sucked out? You can just hear it just goes just like that. Yeah, that was Alan Hardy. But it gets worse. It gets worse because him pestering me wouldn't be enough. So I used to be part of this club, and I know you're going to bully me for it. It was called Chess Club. From my 9th grade to my 11th grade year, I was in Chess Club. Now, Chess Club, don't get me wrong, was not actually Chess Club. It was more of like a, yeah, it was more of like a gaming club, okay? So, what was this kid smoking? Fuck, I don't know. He probably did have some mental issues, but I do too. I'm not all here in the head, but at least I can understand what he was doing was kind of fucked. But I never know, I never asked, and I honestly didn't want to. So we had a thing called Chess Club. Chess Club was not like, you know, chess. It wasn't like obviously we actually did, you know, chess-based stuff, but, you know, more often than not, we didn't. However, Chess Club was actually more of a gaming club. Like, we used to hook up Super Smash Bros. Ultimate when that came out originally. Holy shit, Smash Bros. Ultimate came out 3 years ago. Anyway, so we used to hook up Smash Bros. Ultimate to the smart board, and we'd play 8-player Smash Brothers on the fucking smart board with me and the homies. It was really fun. However, at Halloween, we did a costume party every single year, and everybody would dress up. They'd come in. The first year I did, me and my brother, because I have an identical brother, so we look exactly the same. We both dressed up as plague doctors, so I had I had a like black button-up suit on, had black jeans, black leather boots. I had these medical gloves. I had a really big syringe that I carried on my back like a fucking Buster sword. I had a really big kind of cloak thing that covered up most of my body, and then under where my face was supposed to be, I had painted on skeleton makeup. So I basically was in a cosplay, and I had this top hat on so you couldn't see my hair, because at the time I had really long hair. So I pulled my hair back into the hat and then used the hat and the mask to cover my hairline. So I go in that. My brother was the same thing. The only difference between us was our actual cane, because we couldn't get 2 different canes. So I'm walking in, and what does Alan Hardy walk in with? Oh wait, shit, I forgot to mention, he loved Sharknado too. Sharknado, John Cena, Chuck Norris, and Godzilla he loved. Like, that was all he would talk about. Let me guess, Godzilla rocked up to the party. Yeah, Godzilla rocked up to the party, but it would have been one thing had he rocked up, you know, dressed up. I need to, like, just put in perspective. So, keep in mind, people are in this party. We have, some guy came dressed up as Freddy Krueger. Some guy came dressed up as, what's the name of the guy from the Halloween movie, isn't it? Michael Myers. This guy reminds me of a 12-year-old I know in more ways than one. No, not a Godzilla suit, something worse. So, he rocks up to the party. Keep in mind, we're all pretty well dressed up. And I gotta do the thing. I'm gonna give you some ASMR of how he rocks up. So, here, let me just, a visual of how he comes into the party. You gotta open the door for that effect. Y'all clowns think you can stand up to the Sharknado? And when I say he rocks up, it looked like he had a pizza slice on. It was like it was a piece of styrofoam. Okay? So it was just styrofoam, and it was, what's up? So it was covering his shoulders, and then it would come down the front like a toupee, and then come down the back, and then it'd meet at the middle where there was holes for the legs. So it looked like a pizza slice. And on this pizza slice, I want you to guess what it had. The box art for Sharknado. The box art, not the like the just the image. Like, it looked like somebody took a picture of the DVD, like the DVD itself. They took the art from it and slapped it on this pizza slice. Now, it would have been one thing had It had the words on it. It had the TV, PG, whatever rating in the corner too. So it wasn't. It was literally just a fucking pizza slice with the box art for Sharknado. And he was. I gotta close my door because I just swung it open when I did that. Give me a second. So it would have been one thing had he walked up to the party with his pizza slice, but he rocks up, you know, he's ready, he's in it, and he's like actually like unironically, yeah, he is unironically confident that he's gonna win. Like he walks up and he's like, he's going around to me and my brother, and he came up to me and he was like, "Hey, plague doctors. Y'all think you can stand up to the Sharknado?" And as he walks up, he kind of does this belly roll thing. So you can see, keep in mind, he's like 300 pounds. So you can see the outline of his stomach in the costume. And I'm not trying to make fun of him. I'm just like actually saying that's exactly what it looked like. So you don't know, it's not Sharknado. It's not Sharknado. It's Shark. Here, I'm going to type it in chat. You can look it up. There you go. Look that up. And that's the first image that comes up when you look up Sharknado. Sorry about my dogs, they're barking. So if you look up Sharknado, that first the Sharknado 3 box art, the one that says "Oh hell no," that's what he had on his costume. Give me a second, my dogs are barking. There's probably something going on outside. Yeah, the belly roll. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, I've returned. So anyway, he's walking up with his Sharknado costume and unironically comes up to me and my brother. Keep in mind, we're the dual plague doctors at the time, and he goes like, "Y'all fools think you can stand up to the Sharknado?" And he's like so proud. He, like, you know, he spent like 30-40 minutes on his costume. Even though I guarantee you I can find it, because when I was on vacation, my brother looked it up and found the costume because I was telling the same story. Yeah, he wore a movie poster, pretty much. It was the third one, the one that says "Oh hell no." I'm pretty sure it was either Sharknado 2 or Sharknado 3. It was the one that says Sharknado "Oh hell no" was the one he wore. And he obviously didn't get first place in the contest. I did, by the way. Me and my brother did, because we went in together as one. And we won the contest because we're just that great. Or because the competition wasn't very stiff, obviously. So, he lost. But instead of accepting the defeat, because he was so confident that his costume was the best and that he wanted to win, what does he do? A, accepted his defeat and moved on because it was not that serious, there was no prize. B, throw a temper tantrum, walk outside, and beat the shit out of some lockers. C, cried. Submit your answers. I want to see your answers. Was it A, B, or C? A, accept. C, throw a temper tantrum, or B, throw a temper tantrum, or C, cry. Submit your answers, everybody. No, it was not a bit of everything. This is not a trick question. That's one of those was what he did. C. Start spinning like Noel. B. The answer is B. Threw a temper tantrum and beat the shit out of the lockers. Now, when I say nope, he threw a temper tantrum. And keep in mind, 11th, I think we were in 10th grade. So keep in mind, we're in 10th grade at the time. He's out there throwing a temper tantrum, like, when I say beating lockers, I mean, like, he goes up to the locker. Dance where, like, the people will kind of, like, they'll spin their hands around each other, like, they'll ball up their fists, and they'll, like, have their elbows bent, and they'll spin them around. He was doing that, but, like, beating up the locker to do it. Keep in mind, chess club is after hours, and a teacher, and I can't remember her name, she was responsible for the entirety of chess club, and we were already on bad terms with the administration because 2 weeks prior we had a party in chess club, and some of the bastards, one of which was Oh shit, seems my internet is not sufficient enough to broadcast gameplay. Give me a second to fix this. So, instead of actually, accepting that he lost, he goes outside, beats the shit out of some lockers, and just fucking throws a temper tantrum, which was interesting, an interesting move on his part. I don't know why he did it, but in his process, in his baby rage mode, he broke a locker. And I don't mean like, you need to understand that these lockers aren't like, they're not what you're thinking. They're not like the pre-installed lockers. You know, some schools, they have those ones that they just kind of push them up against the wall and they got that big, thick metal slab on the back and then there's the actual door. He didn't break one of those. He broke one of the ones that are like built into the school, the pre-installed ones. He broke one of those. And I'm sure you're wondering, how do you break a locker? Well, had you asked me before I met Alan, I wouldn't have known. So what he did was, he hit the corner piece of it so hard that the metal bit on it bent inwards. And because when it bent inwards like that, it crushed this actual, there's this like, there's a lock on it. It bent into the lock and broke the lock. So now you can't even open the lock. Now keep in mind, somebody's stuff was in there. And because somebody's stuff was in there and the school was technically responsible for it, the school had to... Now he did not break the locker. These people broke the locker, but this wouldn't have happened had he not done that. So now because there's a student's stuff in this locker, a person needs to come in and get the locker open so that they could get the person's belongings in, so they don't get in trouble because somebody's phone and computer and textbooks are in there and they don't want to have to pay for it and the school doesn't want to have to pay for it. So they pay slightly less to have some, what are they called? Welders, the people that work with metal. So they had to pay for a welder to come in there and open the lock. But in the process of doing so, they melted the locker next to it because, it's hot, so it melts the piece on it, and the metal kind of bent to the side and slightly, ever so slightly covered the locker next to it. So now that locker's broken too. So he broke 2 lockers in one move because of this just absolute fucking stupid... Because he lost a party, he lost a costume contest. So, needless to say, after that, Chess Club was canceled and we were never able to go back. Because of Alan Hardy's fucking retardation. So that was fun. But it gets worse because Alan Hardy, his stories are just bottomless because of how fucking stupid he was. So, another little bit of tidbit. I had first period history class with Mr. Alan Hardy, the legend himself. He sat right behind me. A double whammy, yeah. Give me a sec. Alan Hardy, yeah, very. Alan Hardy sat right behind me and, no, not behind me and then to the left, so diagonal to me in my first period history class. So, it's in the beginning of the year. Keep in mind, my entire school, we live in the country, right? We live in the deep south. There's like the closest big city to me is a 2-hour drive away. To put in perspective how kind of, remote we are down here. So, we love chicken. Sounds like a prank YouTuber. Yeah, it really does. So, we love chicken, obviously, because we're white and we're never mind. So we love chicken. Chick-fil-A, there's 4 Chick-fil-A's that I can drive to within 10 minutes of one another around the area I live. Because Chick-fil-A is just so popular down here. There's not a single day of the week, aside from the days they're closed, where Chick-fil-A's lobbies are not packed. So, obviously, we go to the school one day. It's near the beginning of the year, and I'm not sure if you remember this, but in school, occasionally they would give you these things you had to get signed by your parents. I think it was a military form is what we had to get signed. And my first period history teacher, well, chicken is a great source of protein. Yeah. So, we get this packet, right? And the teacher gives us a very clear, rules. If you get the packet signed and bring it back in it within a day of me giving it to you, so the next day, I will buy the entire class Chick-fil-A. Now, Popeyes is better, but Chick-fil-A is Chick-fil-A. So, everybody gets their thing signed. Every single person. Except for guess who? Alan Hardy. And his reason? I'll never forget it. I don't really like chicken biscuits that much, guys. I don't think I've ever... Have you seen those movies where, like, the people are sitting in the classroom and one guy says, like, reminds the teacher that there's homework and everybody, like, turns and screams at him and throws paper? So imagine that, except instead of paper, it was pins. That was the response to that. People... I don't think I've ever seen somebody so mad at another person in my life. Just because he ruined it for the entire class because I don't like chicken biscuits that much. Oh my god. But no, you know, that's not that much. It could be worse, right? Well, did you know about the USSR of Alabama? I didn't, but apparently it's a thing to Alan Hardy. So we're in a history test one day, right? And a few students, the way my school does it is because we have classes of like 40 people, and they want every single student to be able, they don't want a student to be able to turn over to the side and see what their partner's working on. So we split up every time we do a test, we split the class into 2 groups of 20 so that there's 1 chair difference between every student. So we split the class. This time in particular, I got the luxury of sitting next to Alan Hardy. Bro, get it signed. The rest of the class could get chicken. Yeah, exactly. So we'd split it up, and unfortunately this time I got matched with Alan Hardy, the genius that he is. Now it would have been one thing, you know, had I just got matched in there and that was it. But Alan Hardy, he had a teacher sitting next to him. I can't remember his name. He was one of my favorite teachers. I think it was Coach Smith. And Coach Smith had to read to Alan because I think he was on the spectrum. I might be wrong. But he had to read these questions to Alan. Unfortunately, Mr. Smith read off his answers as well. Damn, so he read these answers too. Now, you ever heard of the USSR of Alabama? Your teachers buy you chicken? No, they didn't. So, have you ever heard of the USSR of Alabama? Because it was one of Alan's test answers. Keep in mind, the USSR was relatively not long ago. It was like, what, 50, 100-ish years ago? So, we're taking this test on the 1940s. And he's like, the USSR of Alabama is my answer. First of all, Alabama was not a state in the 1940s. So let's start with that. Alabama was not a state in the 1940s. Neither was USSR. USSR was not even established until the 1900s, or the 2000s, or the 20th century was when the USSR was a thing. But that was his test answer, and he was confident in his test answer. What's up, Ravel? So he was so confident in his test answer that he submitted it. However, the teacher read off this man's answers, so I got the luxury of listening. USSR ended in 1991. So yeah, in the 20th century. So yeah, I was right. So everybody, he's sitting there reading his test answers, and I'm like sitting in my seat across from him trying not to die from laughter, because I'm laughing. I'm not gonna lie. I know it's mean, but I was laughing at Alan because some of these answers were just gold. Like, it sounded like something you would walk up and unironically read as a comedy routine. It was great shit. But obviously, the stories of Alan Hardy cannot end there. Now, they progressively get slightly less awful from here. These are just some minor things that I personally, I didn't see some of these. So did I already tell you, I'm not sure if I said this, but in my 12th grade year, we had quarantine, obviously, so we had to do online school. So in online school, we got to see a sneak peek in every other student's bedroom. Mine, in particular, being the solid white, asylumistic bedroom I have, but that's besides the point. So we get to see everybody's bedroom. Alan Hardy's bedroom was navy blue walls. He had the Sharknado bedsheet because he angled his computer up or down slightly so you could see his bed. And he had I've never seen a room so messy in my entire life, and that's a lot coming from me, because I like never clean my room, but I don't have anything to clean. But I never clean my room. This man, he had more junk than floor. I guarantee you, had you gotten a black light and went into his room, it would have looked like a fucking Metropolitan painting. It was disgusting. And if you don't get the joke, a black light, if you didn't know, semen, when put under a black light, glows blue. So what I'm saying is, he probably jizzed on his floor. It was so gross. I miss my old room, the one with the pillows on the walls. Oh, I got it. So it was fucking gross. But had it just been gross, no dolls under the bed, I don't know. I didn't get to see under his bed. But he had this, like, literally not, no joke, posters. But the posters were not posters. They were white copy paper printed out with what are they? White copy paper, plain white copy paper, printed in black ink, and it was like pictures of Godzilla, Sharknado, what was the other one? He loved Chuck Norris. Oh, that's another thing. So in our school, on Fridays we'd play music over the intercom as you're walking to class in between transitional periods. So one of the days, and if you don't know how it works, so basically all they do is they press hold on the intercom, and then they put a radio next to it, and the radio just plays a random assortment of music. One of them was always the Patriots theme, which I don't even remember. So they played the football team, and so they play the principal of the school, there was 4 principals in my school because there was 4 different buildings in the school I went to, and each building had its principal, and then there was the head honcho, and the head honcho's name was Mr. Lawrence. So Mr. Lawrence was like the big principal, and dude, I still got Lego posters from those Lego magazines. So this guy, I don't know what it was about him. So I had 2 teachers that just loved fucking with Alan, and one of them was Mr. Jeffcoat. He was my technology teacher, and Mr. Lawrence, and he was the head honcho principal. So the head honcho principal, one fun thing about Alan is if he knew you were talking about anything other than Godzilla, like you could get easy entertainment by going up to him and be like, "Yo, Alan, who would win in a fight? Godzilla or insert character here?" And he would like come back the next day with a fucking thesis on why Godzilla would kill insert name here. And that's not even a joke. That's like, oh, I'm being like 100% serious. He would come back with a thesis on why he was right, why you were wrong, and why Godzilla is the strongest character in all of fiction. So he'd come back in with his thesis the next day. Easy entertainment. Easy entertainment. So just to put in perspective how easy it was to get content out of him. So Mr. Lawrence, our principal, goes up to the intercom and plays the King Kong theme. I'm sure you see where this is going. Keep in mind, this was like 4 days. Dude, could Godzilla kill Goku though? So he played the King Kong theme, and it's funny because you could on the intercom, keep in mind, it's played through the intercom, there's no like actual music, it's just the intercom's been turned on and now there's music. So you hear Alan go up to the front of the office, because that's where the intercom was, and you hear him fighting with the lady in the front, trying to turn it off because, and I quote, King Kong is worse than Godzilla. If you're gonna play movie music, you need to play the Godzilla theme because he's better. Did I mention he passed? He graduated with me. I don't know how. I don't know how this man graduated with me, but he did. So anyway. Oh, I just remembered. So I didn't experience this, but my brother did. Because my brother had him in a 10th grade year. He had a science teacher named Miss Odom. They shared second period together with another guy named Dakota, who I'll get back to later. And what's up, Chili You? It's nice to see you. You seem new here. I'm telling stories about my high school days. So there's this guy, and his name was Dakota, and Dakota and my brother, they had the same class with Alan, and it was a biology class. One thing I didn't mention about Alan was he is a zoophile. I think that's how you say it. So if you don't know what that is, that means he loves animal porn. So I'm going to get TOS so hard. So he walks into my biology class where the teacher used to be what was she? I think she was a marine biologist. Yeah, so Miss Odom used to be a marine biologist. So Alan walks up into biology class with a teacher who used to be a marine biologist, and I want you to guess what he starts talking about. I want you to guess. Go on. Take a guess. I'll wait. I will wait as long as I need to. Actually, you know, let's do a fun ABC. A, fucking sharks. B, fucking dogs. Or C, fucking giraffes. What do you think A, B, or C, ladies and gentlemen? What do you think Alan Hardy was talking about? This dude is something else, yeah. What do you think he's talking about? For 200 points. Oh shit, I gotta like actually pay attention to chat, hold on. So let's see. D, B, C, A. Sharks! He was talking about fucking sharks with a marine biologist present in the classroom. Sharks! Have you ever seen a teacher go white in the face? I haven't. Like this. Alan Hardy did not come back to that classroom. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. No, wait! Alan Hardy did not come back to that classroom for the rest of the year. He got kicked out of school, or not school, of our science class because he was talking about fucking sharks with a marine biologist. My man watches Gargaru for the wrong reasons. Yeah, that's actually... didn't think about that. And what's another thing is like... he is like the textbook example of a Redditor. Alright? That's a good ass question. He was like the literally textbook example of Redditor. Like 310 pounds or 303, somewhere in between 300 and 320. He was fat. He had like acne all over his face. He had like a kind of neck beard going on. Not all the way because he wasn't that old. He was a year younger than me. He had really greasy hair because it looked like he never showered. They can beat Goku. So he was like just gross. But it gets worse. So in my 12th grade year, I never really saw Alan because I stayed at home because, you know, the scary pandemic. And my brother is immunocompromised and I don't want to kill him. So I didn't want to get COVID. So I go back to school for one day because the teachers were like trying to get students to come back to school, and they started a parent-teacher conference with my mom, and basically they were like, hey, blah blah blah, come back, etc etc. I'm not going to go into the details, but basically they're like, your son needs to come back to school at least once a week on Wednesday. But because my house is so far away from, I'm not zoned to the school I went to because my house is pretty far away, so one of the shorter buses had to come and pick me and like 3 other kids up because we just were not zoned to the school, but we got in there for other reasons, and my mom couldn't take me, so there was a bus for students like that. Even humans don't want to claim him. I don't even think the furry community would claim him. No, they wouldn't. So I had to get this fucking short bus, so I already felt like I was retarded getting off the bus to go to school. But anyway, so I would get off this bus and go to my first period class, and halfway through the day, it was lunchtime, I was hearing stories. People were talking about Alan Hardy, so I knew a kid named Adam Smith, and... Smart boy? No, I'm not. No, I made A's B's, but I wasn't that, you know, intelligent. I live in the country, so yes, I did better than my class, but that's not saying a lot. The competition isn't very stiff. So we get off and we get into this classroom, and people were talking about Alan Hardy. Now I knew a kid named Adam Smith, and he was pretty up to lingo. Parent evenings are the cause for unnecessary stress. Yeah. So I get off this bus and go to my class, and people are talking about Alan Hardy. Now Alan Hardy, apparently, now I'm gonna be real. So there was this girl in my class called, I want to think of a fake name. What's a name that sounds really hot? Her name was Sucrose. Her name was Sucrose. And Sucrose was extremely attractive. And I'm not gonna lie, she was kind of cute. So, Sucrose knew Alan Hardy because they sat next to each other in sixth block. Adam Smith sounds like the most generic name. Well, I mean, that was his actual name. His name was literally Adam Smith. But, yeah, so because Adam is the most common boy's name and Smith is the most common last name, so yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. But, so he's like, hey, I'm not going to say my real name. Hey, Soul, did you hear about Alan? And I'm like, no, tell me what happened to Alan. So there's this girl named Sucrose, kind of cute. He said to her face, she was a succubus. Why? Because he dropped his pencil and she got it and handed it to him. So Alan, being the genius he is, smacks the pencil out of this girl's hand. And keep in mind, she's really cute. Alan is this fucking obese, fat guy who's super greasy and gross, and she fucking infected her hand. She probably had to put on a biosuit to pick up his pencil. I would've. And she hands it to him. He smacks it out of her hand and says, no, I don't need that from you, you succubus. Now, I'm not gonna say that she is the nicest person, because she's not. Sucrose was kind of, yeah, he probably does. He probably very frequents Reddit a lot. I'm not going to say she was nice, because I never met her. But I have heard other people talking about her that she was just, cool. And he smacked this pencil out of her hand and called her a succubus. Now, had that been the end of it, that would have been fine. But then, yeah, I know. So she comes back the next day and tries to apologize to Alan. But Alan, being the genius who is, because he got a lot of shit for it, so he wanted to prove people wrong. Remember how I said earlier he'll write a thesis on why Godzilla can kill X character if you ask him? Well, he came back with a thesis on why Sucrose is a succubus and read it to her. I was not there when this happened, but I've confirmed from several people that were, and Adam Smith recorded it, which is why I know about this. I have never seen someone cry so hard in school. Was this Adam? And this was Alan. Alan was the one who smacked it. Adam was just the one who told me about it. So she's fucking crying because she tried to be nice to this fucking piece of shit human being that is Alan, and he's fucking crying. He off the molly. What the hell? Yeah, he's fucking a piece of work. But that was the last time I heard about. I'm willing to pay a large sum of money for that thesis. Yeah, same. I really want to see it too. And for those of you, the uninitiated, that don't know what a succubus is and why it's so insulting to be called that, especially when you're kind of physically attractive. So, a succubus, in biblical sense, a succubus is a demon that's meant to make people commit adultery. It's a sex demon, basically. And they're usually very attractive. So he called this bitch a sex demon, basically. And then came back the next day with a thesis on why she was a sex demon. And wondered why people were mad at him. And the final time I saw Alan Hardy, this is the last story I have about Alan Hardy, because this was the last time I saw him, was in my graduation. Don't ask me how he managed to graduate, because I couldn't tell you to save my life. So, it's graduation. My school killed all the fun because instead of, letting the students decorate their hat, we had to wear... My school was called the pharmacy, because there was very frequent drug drug dealings. Kids were snorting Adderall in the bathrooms and stealing. Have you ever seen someone steal the door to a bathroom? Yeah, that happened in my school. We were called the pharmacy. There was a kid at my school, and I'm not even kidding. His name was Blaze, and he was born on April the 12th. Put two and two, or April the 20th. Put two and two together. His parents knew what they were doing, and Blaze, ironically, got expelled for smoking behind the school. So my school was called the pharmacy. So anyway, we were at graduation, and because the school just had this shitty reputation, they were like, yo, we need to make sure the students are in line. So, oh yeah, yeah. So we need to make sure the students are in line. And I know the Blaze thing sounds fake, but I'm 100% serious. I'll take a picture of my yearbook and like his picture posted on YouTube for proof. But he did exist. So, fuck. So we're at graduation, and because their school is so... I find it funny how insults still hurt people. I usually don't give a shit about you type of vibe. Yeah. So, anyway, we're in school, alright? Graduation, we're in the gym, and we have to wear this very specific dress code because despite the school being called the pharmacy by literally every other school nearby, and despite being the worst school nearby, they want us to put on a good show for them to make them look good, even though half of the class didn't even graduate. Anyway, we're in graduation, so the dress code requirement was khaki pants, red colored shirt, your graduation cap and gown. You could not decorate your cap and gown, by the way. You could not speak, and the amount of times this woman threatened, you had to listen to the order. If you fucked up your dress code, the punishment was 6 hours of community service, and your diploma would be withheld until you completed the community service hours, which is bullshit in my opinion, but whatever. You had to have your you also had to have your shirt tucked into your pants. Now that's important for later. You also had to be wearing a mask because this was kind of at the peak of COVID, so they wanted everything. They pulled a Moyo on us, yeah. So they wanted everything to be perfectly fine. So Alan rocks up to graduation. Day one. I didn't see him in any other day after day one, so I don't think he actually graduated. So Alan Hardy walks up in... How do I describe this? He had khaki pants on, but they were stained with paint. Or I hope it was paint. I've never seen paint that was glossy like that. Yeah, 6 hours community service. So he had really like... I hope it was paint, but I would not be surprised if it was something else. And he had his shirt tucked in, but keep in mind he's like 300 pounds, so you can see his belly button. And instead of wearing a COVID mask, he wore a bandana, but the bandana was wrapped so tightly around his face you could see the indent where his nostrils were. You could see the holes of his nostrils, and when he breathed in, you could watch it get kind of sucked up into his nose. So he walks in with that. The chairs we were given were not very good. They were like really cheap metal. He sits down, and we hear a creak. Obvious, that's not very big. It's a metal chair. It fucking breaks from underneath him. He falls to the ground and then throws a temper tantrum because they gave him a broken chair. Even though it was not broken until his 320-pound ass took a seat in it and just shattered it. What was the color? It was like a clear white. It looked like a paint finish. It looked like wood finish that was kind of put on his pants. The thing is, it looked like sperm, and that's the joke. But, so he sits down in this chair, it breaks, he falls and hits the ground and starts complaining because they gave him a broken chair. Now, any normal person, if their chair broke, they'd be like, fuck, gotta lose the weight. But no, it's the school's fault because they gave him a broken chair. He was also one of those people that, very consistently was like, he thought COVID was fake. So it was his special brush? Yeah, it was his one-eyed brush. So, this guy ain't real. He is. As a matter of fact, hold on. I'm going to grab my yearbook. I want to pull it up. This is my yearbook. So, come down here. I'm not, this is my 9th grade school yearbook, so I'm not even sure if he'll be in here, but. Yep, here he is. Alan Hardy. He is in the chess club portion of the yearbook too, so I'm gonna go back to that. Dude, does this guy pay for your therapy? No, he does not. Sad. Here he is, Alan Hardy. He... This is how male Karens are made, yeah. So he exists. I'll post, if I ever get access to a community tab, I'll post a picture of Alan Hardy on my community tab, and then I'll link this video. So if that ever happens, expect that. So that was Alan Hardy. That was the last time I saw him. Last time I saw him was he was getting escorted out from graduation because his chair broke and he was bitching about it. Now, one thing I didn't mention about Alan is he thought me and my brother were like his best friends. He thought we were, unironically thought we were friends. The amount of times that Alan came up to my brother and like tried to start a conversation with him, because remember early in the story I said when he sat down at the table and was like, y'all know what Brazzers is? That was him. Smart subbing boys, we gotta see that. Yeah, you unlock community tab at 1,000, so don't expect it anytime soon. So yeah, he thought we were like he thought we were buddy. I don't know why. I guess it was because I tolerated him, because I would never say this to his face. Yeah, I'm two-faced like that. I look from the fucking country. We be like that down here. So I'm two-faced. So I was never like to his face like, you dumbass. Were y'all just nice to him? No, I tolerated him. I just tolerated him. I never said anything bad to him to his face. I felt bad kicking him away from my table, especially because when he first sat next to me, it was in my 9th grade year. So I didn't even know him. Nah, you're Foony. I'll sub either way. So I didn't want to be mean to him because he was just... I didn't know, like, I've made friends with a bunch of weird people in my life, like Andrew from my 9th grade year, and what was the name of the kid that always smelled like cigarettes? Yeah, I'm pretty fucking tolerant, so I tolerated him, but I didn't like him. So, yeah, and I had to deal with this shit. Anyway, that's all my stories about Alan, now that we are... How long has this stream been going on for? Let me check. We are an hour into the stream, and I have talked about Alan the whole time. Now, obviously, that's not everything. There are some other stories I have of Alan, but I'm not going to do that because we're talking about Alan for an hour and a half. But, yeah, Alan was a piece of work, and... Oh, fuck. He was just something, man. I don't hate people... But Alan makes me question that, you know? Fuck. Anyway, yeah. I know I've said this like 3 times, but yeah, that was Alan. And I love that as soon as I finish the Alan story, 6 people leave. They're like, yeah, I got everything I needed to know. Alan was wild. No, not Alan. It was spelled like this. I'll spell it in chat. It was spelled like this. Like that. The Alan Saga, yeah, it was spelled like that. A-L-L-E-N, not A-L-A-N. It was Alan. Alan Hardy. Hardy is in, like, the restaurant. He was a piece of work. I've been picking a scab. Good for you, Roger W. Good for you, man. I'm proud of you. Fuck. Like, now that I think about it, my school was fucked. Like, we were called the pharmacy. We were supposed to be, like, #1. We had very frequent fights. Alan sounds like a person who would exist in a movie. Yeah, he really does. And I know it sounds fake and exaggerated, but you got to keep in mind these stories were collected over the course of 4 years, not just a year. So it's not like he did something like this every day. It was over the course of some years. And I probably would have got more stories, but I wasn't there for my 12th grade year. All I have for my 12th grade year are stories I've been told from other people. So do keep that in mind. It's not like all at once kind of thing. But you know, while we're talking about school, let's talk about one teacher I hated. Oh, my dogs are barking. Hold on, let me go check and see what they're barking at. I'm expecting a package. I'm expecting a new microphone soon. Hey! Rudy! Luna!
The damned will sooner die again than lay a hand on me.
What are we doing? Hey, thank you. I was right. Mailman walked right up to the door and the dogs were just fucking giving him hell for it. Also, I think the stream was lagging. I don't know if it ended or not. Now, I believe you have seen some weird things. I ain't doubting, mans. High school stories sure seem far-fetched, looking back for sure. Apologies for my dogs. The mailman just got here, the UPS guy. Also, I'm not even sure if I'm still live. Yep, I am. Okay, cool. So, those are my high school stories. One more, and this is not Alan related. I hate to... The Alan Saga enthusiast got lag. Start the podcast. No, I don't mean my game's lagging. Like my stream itself is lagging because I have the stream pulled up on my phone so I can read the chat. So okay, before you continue, okay, go ahead, beginner M. What have you got to say? All eyes are on you. What is it you got to add to this shithole we're doing right now? Is you getting Staff of Homa? Fuck no. I'm saving for Arataki Ito. Arataki Ito minions, rise up. So we had a teacher in my, what was it, 11th grade year, named Mr. Wade. Now, Mr. Wade was old school, question mark. Mr. Wade was basically what you get if you took that stereotypical boring history teacher, but then made him teach science and then made him the most aggressive teacher every day. To put in perspective, we went into class every single day and his favorite quote of all time was, "Let's lock in, guys. Let's lock in." But he didn't talk like that. He talks like this all the time. No emotion, no expression. My wife left me. Depressed. Suicidal tendencies. My student killed their father once with a spray paint canister. That was how he talked, and that spray paint canister was an actual story he told us one day. He would come into classroom and be like, "Alright guys, let's lock in," and he'd like scream at the class because the class was talking before class. No shit. And then he'd like go on a 10-minute long rant about how we're wasting time that we could be using to learn. Keep in mind, this is a 15-minute long class period, or a 50-minute long class period. He wastes a fifth of it talking and screaming at us because we were talking before the bell rung. So he was just a piece of work. But he loved the phrase, "let's lock in." He loved it so much. So what did we do? Yeah. Exactly, the coma inducer. So, what did we do in protest? Well, me, my friend Dakota, and my brother, we were the top students of the class. We spent most of our time reading comics and sleeping, but he didn't know that because I got very good at hiding the fact I was asleep in class. I can literally, I know this, you think this sounds fake, I can sleep with my eyes open and head up, so it looks like I'm awake. This is such a wild stream to join in for the first time. Yeah, maybe. So, Mr. Wade was a piece of work. He loved the phrase, "let's lock in." So me, my friend Dakota, and my brother came up with an idea to torment Mr. Wade. So what did we do? Well, we're the class goody two-shoes. We always do our work. He fucking hated me, by the way. Like, he despised me because I didn't listen to him, and I would never like pay attention, and then test day would come, and he'd kind of walk up to my desk, and he'd kind of do this thing where he goes up to my. You know how some teachers are, where they'll go up to your desk and they'll have like the paper test, and they'll kind of just slam it, and then they'll kind of look at you funny, like they want to kill you. So that was Coach Wade for me, and he would always give me that look, like, yeah, you didn't pay attention, you're gonna fail. Never made anything lower than an A. Never. I got perfect scores on just about every test that fucker gave me, because it was a repeat class. Oh, excuse me, a repeat class I had in 8th grade. It was literally just biology, or no, not biology, geology, not fucking geology. What is the history of the world, or the science of the world in general? It was that one. So I would always pass. So I was always the class, you know, the goody two shoes. I was basically the teacher's pet, except I wasn't the teacher's pet. I just got the grades of the teacher's pet. So me and my friend Dakota, who was also like the best student in the class, we were the best 3 students in the class. We sat in the front, so we could never ever do anything without him seeing it, right? Wrong. So because we just absolutely, geography, is that really it? Geography is the study of the continents. I mean, like the entire world, like periodic table of elements, shit like that. Anyway, so he hates us, so we have a funny idea. He loves the phrase, let's lock in. He said it one time. My brother counted. He had a tally mark on the back of his folder. He counted. Mr. Wade said, let's lock in. I shit you not, 47 times in 4 days. And he quit counting because he lost track. So in 4 days, 47 times, he said the words, let's lock in just the classes that we had with him, which was 1. It was our 5th period. So we decide, since he loves the phrase so much, we're going to mock him. So we drew a hyper-realistic cock. My friend Dakota, he had a pencil. And the pencil, it was a lead pencil with a metal tip. So keep in mind, the desk we have, they're solid black desk, and then they have a layer of finish on the top, and then it's black paint over it. Periodic table is part of chemistry, so it was chemistry. Thank you. That's actually what it was, chemistry. So it was a black table. It was wood, but then it had a black table on top of it, and then there was plastic, and then a wood finish. No, wood, and then a wood finish, and plastic, and then paint. So the paint could be scratched off. However, because there were so many layers to the it was chemistry. Because there were so many layers to the table, you could kind of individually scratch off the layers of paint. However, Dakota, he had a lead pencil with a metal tip. So the first day we drew a hyper-realistic cock, and then he always wore the same clothes every day. It was a pair of black pants, like black, what are they called? I'm blanking. Work pants, question mark. It looks like something you would wear like to a formal gathering. He'd wear those black pants, and then he'd wear a white button-up shirt. He'd tuck the shirt in, and he had this black belt that had his initials on it, and he had it buckled up so that you couldn't see he had like a slight tummy flop. He was pretty skinny, but he had a slight tummy flop. He was really tall. He was like 6'2". So we drew a 6.2 inch cock on the desk, and then we gave it his signature belt, and then we gave it his tie and his white button-up suit, and then we wrote a word bubble that said, let's cock in, because he loved the words, let's lock in. It was his favorite string. We come back the next day. Our masterpiece is erased. Fair game. This time, we used Dakota's metal pencil, and instead of using the lead, we carve it into the desk. So now it says, let's cock in. They try to erase it. It's there the next day. So what do they do the day after? Obviously, they sandpaper the desk. So now that the desk has been sandpapered, you can see the kind of scratches in it, and there's kind of like a divot in the desk where they sandpapered the finish off of it. So we're not going to settle for this. So now we do it again, but this time we carve it in deeper so that you can actually see it in the array. So now that we've carved it in deeper, they have to sandpaper harder. Now there's a hole in the desk, or a dip in the desk. So we do it again, and 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 again. We did this every single day for 14 days, and then the 15th day, there was such a big hole in the desk. We hit the wood of the desk, because remember I said it was wood finished, and then plastic, and then paint. We hit the wooden part of the desk, so we couldn't do it anymore. That's when we stopped, and never got caught. Never got caught because we were the class. We were the good boys of the class. They would never suspect the people that always do their work. And because Dakota always put his binder on top of the desk as soon as we started class, they never knew who did it. Never got caught. And do I regret it? Fuck no. If Mr. Wade, if you're watching this, fuck you. You were the worst teacher I've ever had. There was a day where my school there was an armed suspect in my school, and we were locked in our classrooms because they're armed suspect in the building. That's good for children. So basically, this guy walks into he was running from the police, so he walks into the building and he had a gun on him, and he just sat down in the classroom. He just sat down. That was it. He didn't say anything. He didn't hold anybody up. However, it's very obvious 2 weeks straight. Now that's dedication to the craft. Yeah. So we walk in. He walks in, sits down in the classroom, has a gun, but he doesn't say anything. He doesn't do anything. He just sits down like he's supposed to be there. However, the police were chasing him. So, the police get to their school, and then the intercom comes on. What are we told? Attention students, we are now on lockdown. Teachers, please close your doors. Do not open it until you are informed otherwise. Thank you. Intercom goes off. The quiet kid, yeah. So, obviously, there's a person with a gun in the school. That's not good. We don't know who he is. He's not a parent. He's running from the cops, and he's sitting in a classroom. It would be one thing if there was nobody in the classroom. There were kids in the classroom. So there's an armed suspect in our school, in a classroom, in the middle of the day, with a armed, loaded weapon. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end the story. I know there's suspense. Nothing happened. He got arrested. He didn't do anything. He was just trying to hide. The gun wasn't even loaded. But that's not the point. The point is that obviously any student in a situation like that would be scared, okay? Because that's fucking awful. Now, Coach Wade, what is his response? And they say close the doors. Well, yeah, close the doors, lock the doors, and then because in my school we are in the country, so we have these like big like bulletproof doors, and then we have don't open until they said yeah. Because unless the intercom came on and it was specifically Mr. Lawrence, or we had so there was a chain of command. So Mr. Lawrence was the only person who was allowed to initiate lockdown, and the only other people that were allowed to de-initiate it were the 4 vice principals. And because they were in, I don't know if the teacher, some spec ops, it wasn't a teacher, it was just some random guy. So there was Mr. Lawrence, and he was the principal, as I said earlier. But because there was 4 different buildings in the school, each building had a different key, and each building had a different vice principal. So each principal had a key to each building, so they could lock the doors. For example, so the way the buildings were split up, it was the first main building was what you went into after you got to the bus loop, and then there was a second portion of that building that was renovated later, and if you went through that building, it led you to the gym, and then in the gym there were some classrooms off to the side. So those are the 2 portions, and then from the gym you could turn left, and there'd be a double door that laid out into this patio-like area, and there was a shade over it. If you went over all the way down the patio and then turned right, there was another classroom, and it was a 3-floored classroom because it was built up on a hill. So it was 3 floors. That was the 3rd building. And then the 4th building was if you went behind there, exited out the back, there was a track field. Go down and to the left from the track field, and there was a 3rd building, which is where like the teacher buildings were, where the students weren't allowed to go. So there were 4 buildings, and then Mr. Lawrence was on the 2nd floor of the 1st building, and that's where the other vice principal was. So unless if Mr. Lawrence didn't come back on the radio to say that lockdown was disengaged, then it had to be one of the other 4. And they did that because they wanted to make sure if at any case a teacher was held hostage and said something, it would take 2 teachers. And because they didn't want it to be a case like that. So it was a safety precaution because the school takes safety very seriously because we're in the South and it's very frequent for, shootings to happen here. And that's why they do it. But yeah, this school sounds like its own, like it's on its own type of level. Well, again, country. We got some rednecks down here that people down here look for any excuse to use a weapon, but that's not the point. Okay, I'm obviously you could understand, like, a lot of schools do this, but this was just such a big school because the school was re-renovated 4 times in its history, which is why it's so big. And it's also the only, like, really over 1,500 students went to that school. And that's why, because there's only like 3 high schools in the area, and that's why it's so big. But I digress. Point is, the lockdown ended. Thank God he's still alive, yeah. So point is, the lockdown ended, I go to Coach Wade's class, and I went off on a huge tangent. The reason why I hated Coach Wade is because this day in particular, people were... This was a period after lockdown ended, because we were held in our classrooms from the start of second period to the end of third period. A Spiral Abyss Floor 12 type shit, yeah. So we were held in our classrooms from the beginning of second period, which was my math class. We were held from there from the very beginning all the way until the end of third period, but then they waited until fourth period, all the way until fourth period, and then they waited until fifth period, and fifth period was my science class. Now, what does Coach Wade say to the students that just walk in from, potentially a lethal situation? What was Alan doing? I don't fucking know. He wasn't in my class at the time. So what does Coach Wade tell us? Get over it, children. It's not that big of a deal. There was this lady that sat behind me. Her name was Aisha. She was this kind of big, she wasn't fat, but she was like kind of built big. Her name was Aisha. She was kind of really ghetto, and I'm not trying to be racist, but she even called herself ghetto. I have never seen a student get that mad at a teacher before. And I think after that, everybody kind of lost their respect for Mr. Wade, and that's why we fucking hated him. There was a teacher in that classroom, so I'm sure you know this. Some students, they have like a kind of special, they have an IEP, which is an individualized program for each student. Alan was prepping his Godzilla suit to save the day. Yeah. So there was this teacher in there, I can't remember his name, but he was really cool. We had to take a test that day. As I said, we split off into groups of 20 so that there's a space in between every student. And she sounds like an Aisha. So that's racist. So fucking this teacher, he looks at y'all and he said we had always talked shit about Coach Wade, always, whenever we were with him. And I've never had a teacher laugh at students making fun of another teacher, but this guy did. And I don't remember your name, guy, but if you're watching this, you know who you are. I loved you, man. You were really cool. It was so cool. But man, fuck Coach Wade. I don't have any like crazy stories about him in particular, but God, Coach, just fuck him. Look at that pigeon. I just fucking hated him. One other story, one last school story, and then I'll probably end stream because it's almost 4 o'clock. So, I had a teacher named Mr. Jeffcoat, okay? Hey babes, what's up, Jamie? I'm not racist, I don't eat Chick-fil-A. So I had a teacher I had him in my 9th, 10th, and 11th grade year. His name was Mr. Jeffcoat. Now, Mr. Jeffcoat was the type of teacher that only came to school to claim a fucking check. To put in perspective how laid back he was, have you ever seen a teacher curse out the students? Because the students curse him out, and they're not like they get to the front of the class and be like, "You fucking kid," not like that. I mean, like, he was just cool. Like, the students would be like, "Hey, yo, Miss Jeffcoat, you fat ass." And he'd be like, "Oh, you lanky, scrawny ass looking bitch." He was like that. So he literally downloaded Minecraft on every computer in his classroom and played Minecraft with us for like a week. That was the type of teacher Mr. Jeffcoat was. I've only ever seen him do 2 pieces of... He was the guy who designed the maps for the school. Because, like, new students, you'd get a map, and then you'd get a card which had your schedule. He was the guy that designed the maps. But other than that, he didn't really do work. So, to put in perspective how laid back he was, there were some known, like... Remember how I said my school was called the pharmacy? So, there are these kids in the back that very consistently were smoking... something, I don't even know what they were smoking, but they were always high all the time. And there was this kid in the front of my classroom. He was this really skinny, tall, lanky kid. He was a grade ahead of me. I don't remember his name, but we could watch YouTube on our computers, and he had this video. It was a minecart from Minecraft speeding down a hill, and then it like falls into this pit of magma, and then it like turns into this acid trip of colors and triangles and different shapes. It looks like one of those weird circle things you get where you like put it next to your eye and you like spin it, and it's like a bunch of diamonds that kind of reshape. It looked like that, but it was really bright colors. So he was watching this with a dead stare. Like, when I say a dead stare, I mean like unironically just staring at it. He didn't say anything. He didn't blink. He just stared at it. The bell rung. He didn't even move. He didn't move until one of his friends grabbed him and shook him and said, "Hey man, it's time to go." And this was in Jeff Coates' class, and he didn't care. He didn't care. His only rule was when the teachers come in to spectate me, y'all need to be doing work. Well, the other time, I don't care what y'all do. So anyway, the point is, so we walked into class one day, and there was a book on Mr. Jeff Coates' desk called the Necronomicon. Now, to the uneducated out there, the Necronomicon is basically Satan's equivalent of the Bible. So Mr. Jeffco, we see this thing on his desk. We're like, "Hey, yo, Jeffco, what's this, my guy?" And, you know, we kind of pat him on the ass. I'm just kidding. So we're like, "Jeffco, what's this?" And he's like, "It's funny you ask. I have no fucking clue." And he was like, "So funny story." And he, like, gathered a bunch of chairs around him, and he sat in the front of the chair. He had this big rolly chair, and he gathered some chairs around. He's like, "If y'all want to know the story, come here." So we had a fucking story time in 10th grade. So we sit down, and he's like, "Hey guys, this is," and he like shows us the book. He said, "Let me tell y'all a story." And he basically told us a story about how when he was in high school with he had 3 friends at the time, and they used something. This dude trying to summon Cthulhu. So he was like, "We used insert thing here, I can't remember, and we were talking to demons or something like that." He said, "I've never been in a situation scared for my life, blah blah blah." You get the story. It was a ghost story. And he was like, "After that, I knew how to pronounce," yeah, circle time. It was actually a blood ritual that he was having us do. We just didn't know it at the time. So so Mr. Jeffcoat kind of gathers us around, and he's like, he reads it to us, and he's it was just the Necronomicon, which is like, see here, he kind of reads us. I was never able to pronounce the name of this book until after that experience, and we're like, "How do you pronounce it, Mr. Jeffcoat?" And he's like, "Necronomicon," and he stands up and leaves the room, and we didn't see him for the rest of the day. He was such a chill dude. I loved him. I know y'all can be like, "Yo, Mr. Jeffcoat is weird." Mr. Jeffcoat, it was one thing I left out of the story just to put in perspective. This was April 1st. Is it me or is stream laggy? It might be me. I don't know. Ask the rest of the chat. They can clarify. So this was done on April 1st. So that's the kind of teacher Mr. Jeffcoat was. I played, the first time I played Hollow Knight was in Mr. Jeffcoat's class. The first time I played Minecraft with other people that weren't family was It'd Be Laggy. It reminds me of that video. Oh my god, there's so many chats. It'd Be Laggy. Reminds me of that video where the guy summons Cthulhu and turns into a femboy. Yeah, you would remember that, wouldn't you? It is indeed a bit laggy. So April Fools, yeah. Bro, not gonna lie, that book low-key not safe. Don't play with that, please. I have a pillow upstairs, which is literally just a whatchamacallit. It's a Ouija board pillow. It's a pillow and it's got the Ouija board text and shit on it. And it's my favorite pillow. I love it. Ugh. God, my throat hurts. Well, now he sounds like a great teacher. Yeah, he was. He was such a cool teacher. I fucking loved him. Unfortunately, I didn't get to ever say goodbye to him because, you know, a fucking pandemic started. So I never got to say goodbye to Jeffco, but he was a cool dude. One of my favorite teachers ever. And he was, I don't think I've ever had a teacher that I could talk to them like they were a friend, but Jeffco was that. He was a really chill dude, and do kind of wish I could go back to that school, but at the same time, it's not worth saying goodbye to him, because fuck that. High school is shit, and if any of you aren't in high school or if graduated high school, it's ass. Jeff. Don't make that joke, damn it. I will ban you immediately. So yeah, those are my little high school stories, or the Alan saga. All right. Now I don't have any more. No, not the Luigi board. So that is the high school saga. That school wild. I mean, not really. This was kind of over the course of what? Fuck. 4 years? So not really. It's just a little bit of spice that's peppered into this hellscape that was my school. I obviously have more stories, but none of them are anywhere near as interesting as the one I told on stream today. So I'll probably not. You know, I probably won't tell more school stories, but what's up, Rogan? You're late, man, but yeah, so I probably won't tell more stories like that, because, you know, it's just kind of one take. Maybe if I ever get to the point where I like have 100 people on stream, I'll tell them again. But until then, I think I'll save my my little nightmare fuel, my nightmare stories, my high school extravaganza bullshit. Also, there's a lot of new faces today. I haven't been keeping up with chat today, and I'm sorry about that. So let me just go through and say hello to the new faces. Broken, welcome. You're new here. I haven't seen you before. Infernal Cognition, welcome. You're new here. I've never seen you before. Tan Hong Lurong, welcome. Welcome. Larry Loser, you were here yesterday, but I didn't welcome you, so welcome to the stream. And that seems to be about it. At least everybody that said anything. Jamie is here. He's the legend. Rogan, welcome. You were here yesterday. I'm not late. You're early. I'm here. Oh, Alan is gonna be our new meme when you get to 100K. Yeah. The Alan Hardy meme. Ye came from White Knight vid. Oh wait, that was the first video you found of mine? Was that the first video you saw of mine? Is Dante here? Yeah, Dante's here. It's my first day here. Dante, you lying ass. Yeah, Dante's there. Dante is the oldest stream viewer I have. Actually got done watching your Ito vid and hopped on here after. I got you. Dante, speak up. How long have you been making videos for? A month. I've been making videos for about a month. Okay, well, you know what? We have another 20 minutes before I'll have to end stream. So how about we do this? Let's do a short Q&A. Ask me some questions. Dante, ain't you 21? No, Dante is 25, I'm pretty sure. So let's do this. Let's do a short Q&A. All right? Oh, I accidentally unplugged my headset. Soul, add me.
The damned will sooner die again.
Soul, add me to a PS4 chat. I found you through the compilation about the canceled Bunny Girl event vid. Are y'all serious? Are like new people actually finding? I have a question. Now this is gonna sound weird. Can y'all tell me what video was the first y'all found me from? I'm the babysitter of our little group here. It's actually working. Alright guys, I'm gonna add Jamie live on stream so we can talk. Jamie, what's your PSN thing? Or do I already have you added? No, there's no video for a second. You gotta give me a sec for this. There's gonna be no video. Let's see here. Literally, your Ito vid is what got me here. Ah, I see. A lot of people found me through my Ito vid. Let me pull. How do you start a? Yo, my questions for the Q&A is who's the best Genshin Impact girl? Sucrose. I found you through the anniversary, good boy. My first video was the Ito Kit video, if I recall correctly. Found you through the anniversary vid, and your headset be bruh right now. What does it sound like? Then to find out you're low budget made me stay. I was looking for Edovid, but found the rant ones. It came unplugged. That was an accident. Yeah, I know I'm low budget. It's because I got you. Jamie is a cutie. Got it. I'll start a party. This shit. A bit of an issue. And I know about it. I'm trying to fix it. The audio. I know the audio in my videos are way quieter than usual. But there's not really anything I can do about it. Nah, the low budget YouTube be more genuine most of the time. I see. I mean, yeah. Hold on, Jamie, I'm adding you to the chat, so don't make a fucking fool of yourself. And just know, Jamie, I can't hear you. So, don't say anything bad. Wow. I fucking love. Oh, I'm trying to find it. Nah, bro, don't get me wrong. I ain't entertaining to watch. It ain't entertaining to watch unrealistic build videos. Guys, I haven't mad at it. It's lagging. No, it's not lagging. Whales be boring AF other than Tech Zone. Bro, I can't. This internet is so bad. Oh, I thought you meant on my side. You got a Discord spirit? What do you mean? Yeah, fuck. Jamie, I don't even see you on my friends list. Did I unfriend you? Oh well. I guess Jamie is... Oh, you got dashes. Of course you do. Jamie is a QT. You're not showing up. You're not showing up, Jamie. Oh, there you are. There, accept my friend request, damn it. I mean, do you have a Discord that people can join? I get asked that a lot, but no. I do have a Discord, but it's literally just a chat I made with some friends.